Hello, my name is Justin Panenbaum, and this presentation is going to be about the peopling of modern humans, specifically Homo sapiens, throughout the Old World. Here's a bit of an introduction to what I'm going to be discussing. The earliest evidence of hominid migration is evident to have occurred as far back as 1.7 MYA, while the peopling of Homo sapiens throughout the Old World occurred around 135,000 to 100,000 KYA. It is believed that modern human beings emerged from Africa. There are numerous theories and analytical models explaining the causes of their migrations. The believed migration patterns practiced by hominids during the initial peopling of Old World differs across archaeology. Here is just a general timeline of major points in hominid history. 200,000 KYA, Homo sapiens first appeared in Africa. 170,000 KYA, clothing. 150,000 KYA, speech and complex symbolism. 130,000 KYA, trade and exchange. 135,000 to 100,000 KYA, believed migration out of Africa. 100,000 KYA, burial practices and complex stone tools such as projectile points and spears. 35 KYA, music. 17,000 KYA, pottery and baskets. 10,000 KYA, domestication. And now onto the ecology and landscape that was occurring at the time. The changing ecology and action played a major role in their migration patterns. The Pleistocene, also commonly referred to as the Ice Age, was a series of global cooling and warming periods, which caused glacial cycles in transforming the climate. It had crucial ramifications for the migrations of hominid populations, but Africa was not covered by glaciers. But the combination of water locked in the northern and southern hemispheres caused changes in the oceans and wind currents, altering their normal weather patterns, consequently impacted their hunter and gatherer-based communities. Consistently less participation resulted in the diminishment of forests and vegetation and expanded the grasslands. Additionally, since there was a lack of vegetation, wild game became more scarce for hunting and scavenging. Moreover, the spread of African-like grasslands moved into the Mediterranean and then the Middle East, causing African grassland animals to migrate into the Middle East. Now I'm going to talk about the theories and intellectual frameworks behind human origins. The original two models are the multi-regionalism theory and the recent single origins theory. Additionally, there is the simulation model, which is one of the newest compelling concepts that seeks to explain modern human origins. All these models use fossil records, genetic samples, and scientific theoretical reasonings as their supporting evidence. The recent single origin model, which is also more commonly referred to as the out of Africa theory, was developed in the 20th century, and it attempts to explain the origins of modern humans. It states that modern humans originated only in Africa, then spread to other parts of the world. It assumes that all earlier hominid populations outside of Africa went extinct. Early anatomically modern human populations began moving out of Africa generally before 100,000 KYA. It believes that modern humans replaced all other forms of archaic hominids living throughout the Old World. The supporters of the recent single origin model emphasize the disappearance of anatomical features that specify early regional populations. Additionally, a study of mitochondrial DNA from living humans fostered this model. The mutations found in genes of mtDNA were examined, and it found that the greatest diversity in mtDNA genes exist in African populations, suggesting that they represent the oldest modern human populations. Now onto the multi-regional theory. Um, Also known as the regional continuity theory or the polycentric model. It was proposed in 1984, and it states that modern human origins began about 2 million years ago, and each hominid variation occurs within a single continuous species. Its biggest assumptions is that all human hominid populations were connected through gene flow. The early movements out of Africa by Homo erectus caused the settlements in regions across the Old World. Then members of other groups most likely mated with other nearby groups and then continued mating with other groups, contributing to the overall gene pool, which became a combination of genes from multiple populations. And all hominids eventually evolved into the same species. It also emphasizes anatomical continuities and regional specific populations from earlier hominids as evidence. The anatomy, measurements, and features of skeletal remains were all used to distinguish early hominids. An example of this would be late Homo erectus populations across Asia to Homo sapiens. East Asian East Asian features such as flat faces and thickened enamel on the back and side edges of the incisors, which is the top two and the front four teeth, the top and bottom, also, which is known as shovel-shaped incisors. Additionally, in Southeast Asia, over time, there have been notable projecting faces and somewhat flat forehead, mimicking the features of Neanderthals. Now on to the simulation model, which is the most recent theoretical explanation. It also uses evidence from the archaeological fossil record and genetic studies. There is some level of continuity in skeletal details among different hominid populations, which is also shown in some of the genetic aspects. The supporters of this theory say that modern humans have an African origin, but once these groups moved out of Africa, they were able to successfully integrate with one another, other hominid populations, such as Neanderthals and Denisovans. Never mind. It combines elements from both of the other outlined models. Populations in sub-Saharan Africa do not have genes from Neanderthals. So but the populations outside of sub-Saharan Africa have Neanderthal genes. So this suggests that modern humans have a sub-Saharan African origin and that there was no gene flow between Neanderthals and sub-Saharan Africans. Now, the simulation model for the origins of modern humans is considered the best known explanation. Modern humans do have a recent origin in Africa. And now, finally, the summary. So Homo sapiens first appeared in Africa about 100,000 years ago. They migrated out of Africa shortly afterwards because of the changing environments. The recent single origin theory believes that modern humans evolved in Africa, then migrated, while multi-regional hypothesis believes that modern humans evolved outside of Africa, and the simulation model believes that a combination of both occurred. And here's my works cited.